What's up, guys? Hope everyone's doing well. Today, I want to talk about this right here. This agency, Primelis, I think is their name. Kind of a funky name. Um, but if you search SEO in Ahrefs and just sort by volume, they're number 2 in terms of search volume. And number 3, they're number 4 as well. I mean, that they might even be more than that. But clearly, yeah, I think they're just trying to manipulate 2, 3, 4. And so they have 62, 55, and 45,000 searches per month. And you can see it spiked. So if you actually go into these, you can see they just ran some sort of test in January of 22. And then in reality, they don't actually have any searches like most months. Looks like they were running some tests here. February 21, May 21, a little bit in August 21. They just blew the top off it in January 22. And then it's back. It's been 0 cents. So that's crazy. I just want to talk about, how they would do something like this. As some of you guys know, I built, founded, and sold SERPclicks.com. Let's see what they have here. SERPclicks.com. This video, yeah, I made. They haven't changed this yet. That's crazy. Same host and everything, but the homepage, it looks like they've changed it a lot. Pricing has changed a lot. This is new, whatever this trust lock is. Free trial, I think, is new as well. This calculator I coded myself. That wasn't even my developer. I actually built that myself. It's the best way to really calculate what you need. And the reason I built SERPclicks is there was always the option for bots. These guys too, Nova out of Toronto. It's funny. SERPclicks, there was always competitors. Everyone that's a competitor to SERPclicks, that's a cheaper alternative, is a bot. And the reason the bots don't work is because the footprints are so apparent. Multi-login MLA, multi-login app is super popular for those of you who do like anything with browser profiles, manipulation, proxies, stuff of that nature. It's generally for like black hat things or gray hat things. So it's not super popular in like the common SEO world. But even then, if you, let's say you're trying to register 10 browser profiles on 10 mobile or residential IP proxies, and you have 10 phone verified Facebook accounts, and so you're trying to set up 10 independent accounts for whatever you're doing. And it's tricky. I mean, it generates random footprint, and like you can go through so many precautions on like just your entire footprint, not just the user agent, but everything, A to Z, even the order. I remember looking back when I owned SERPclicks.com, looking into like the order of the headers. Like just the smallest things can just be like, it's just got to be perfect. Like no spaces, no extra commas. If you're writing like an array or a list, sometimes people put like a comma on the end, and some people don't. And syntax wise, it's fine. It'll compile for both. But there's just some examples of some things where it's so finicky. And so there's that. But really, there's also the fact that Google has some sort of predicted number of the percentage of accounts searching Google and what they would expect, the amount they would expect to be logged in to a Google account. And they know the browsing history. And if your Google account is anything like mine, it's probably 5, 10, 15 years old. And it's probably like, they probably have you tracking, moving between Google accounts for, the better part of your life. It's crazy what they have. And so let's say you have like a search term and it spikes up with it normally gets 200 searches a month, and you take it up to 300. You bought 100 searches. The problem with bots, not just the footprint, but they're not even logged in. And so Google sees, okay, normally this keyword gets 200 searches a month. Oh, I got an extra 100 this month. Wow, that's weird. Normally 40% of users are logged into a Google account. And that's just a made up number, that 40, it could be 60% or whatever. Google knows it. And as soon as that percentage changes and goes like, oh, well, 100% of those users were not even logged in. It's pretty suspicious. What's the browsing history on those IP addresses? I mean, if they're Their mobile proxies, I guess you like share the IP addresses with different people, so it's hard to track just off the IP address. But residential, I don't think those IPs change too often. So, but anyways, just purely off of having a Google account, like you could have everything set up. You can use the best proxies, and believe me, because I've had so many proxy people come up to me and go, Josh, like back when I owned this, you should convert to proxy. You could save so much money and charge less and this and that, because I was paying so much money to. This is real. If you don't know what Surfclicks is, it's real people that go on their browser and search. They live around the world, and based on what country they're in is how much they're paid. They might be paid 2 cents for a search, or they might be paid 20 cents if they're in a tier 1 country. And I don't know what the current rates are at, but that's how it works. And so that's the reason I built it, is because literally no one understood what I just explained to you. There's so many alternatives, and no one can understand. Like they just think Google's fucking stupid. Like Google knows what the anticipated or forecasted percentage of logged in accounts are, and even if they didn't have that, all the browser footprints. There's just so many when you start digging through it, and of course, like you can't tell a proxy provider that. They'll be like, "Oh, you can do it. You can do it. You can." No, man, it's super super hard. And so anyway, Surfclicks is pretty cool. I mean, they've done excellent. I'm happy to see. I sold them when I was in college, and the company's continued to grow. Usually, if you sell a company like this at this scale, like they usually don't do too well. But it's a solid company and recurring revenue, everything. And I think they're doing fantastic as a business, from what I can tell. And so, really glad to like look back on this from, I don't know, man. It's been 5+ years since I sold this company. And I was busy in school, University of Toronto, studying computer science at the time, and the workload was stupid. And so I sold this. And anyways, we're sidetracked. Kind of, not really, but back to this. So now another story is how do you manipulate this? Can you use Surfclicks? Can you use bots? Well, surely if you're getting 62,000 clicks from Surfclicks, that would take a ton of money. So they can't be doing it, but they also can't be doing bots. And the reason is this. Years ago, I founded a company called Keyword Scout. That company is no longer existent because I was 15 years old, 16 years old. And if you read my blog or my book or anything, I go into it. Basically, blew up this keyword tool. We were doing really, really well, 5 figures a month. I was like 15, 16 years old, and then PayPal shut me down, yada, yada, yada. Story's a lot longer than that. But when I was in the keyword research tool business before Surfclicks, we got all of our search data. You could get it from Google Keyword Tool at the time. It was just, I don't know if it's still called that. I don't even know if it's even still, no one really, I don't use it that much. I use Ahrefs for everything now, but back then you would use Google Keyword Tool within the AdWords panel, and they would give a very close approximate to the number of searches per month. Later on, they kind of shook all of us who were mining their data, because they, instead of saying, oh, this keyword gets 62,000 searches per month, it would just give you the figure, the decimal value. So it would say it's between 10,000 and 100,000, right? So it was either between 0 and 10, 10 and 100, 100 and 1,000, 1,000 and 10,000, 10,000, 100,000, etc. Right? So it would just tell you how many zeros were on it. And so when you have, let me one second. When that happened and it kind of shook all the keyword tools, and I think Ahrefs was around then. I think it was. This was 2011. So I don't know, but 2011, 2012. and Google shook all of us from using their data. And we had to go for other techniques. And of course, I was dealing with bigger problems, like how to, pay contractors when you're 16 years old on the internet, and PayPal's banning you and this and that, and too young to get a credit card, and just all the headaches. I really, really hate PayPal and strongly encourage anyone listening to not use them whenever they can. But the solution for getting these numbers, since they could no longer get them from Google, was to buy that data. And people that sell that type of data are the types. You ever installed like a freeware, like there's free software out there where you like install I haven't seen it in a long time, but you used to be able to install toolbars on your browser. Now it's like extensions do similar things. But basically, there's extensions out there where, damn, what's the big one? Who is Hola? Yeah, this is it. So Hola, if you're not aware, Hola is a free VPN. Um, well, how can they do it free? Well, or yeah, how can they do it free? Well, basically, you're putting yourself into a network, and so it's like if you and I both join this, you can use my IP address and I can use yours. And then how do they monetize? Illumity SAP. I don't think it's, man. What's the, there's a sell side for it, and I can't remember. Oh man, Loom with the pop ups is so annoying. I have 4 bug reports open with them right now. But there's another side of the company they use, and they probably hide it. No, there it is, right there. Illuminati. It's a big business. 125 million for 75% of the company. Bright Data. Okay, yeah, they renamed it Bright Data. I knew that. Yeah, so they basically sell data from, or not data. They sell bandwidth proxies. So if you install Hola, or not Hola, Ola, I guess what you'd say. I'm assuming it's Ola, but if you install Ola, then you are basically giving everyone in the world that uses Ola and also uses Bright Data to access through your browser. That's one way they would monetize, is through Bright Data. Now, the other way they monetize is through selling your browsing data, and so they get access because when you install those extensions, and there's a number of free VPN extensions. It's not just this. You agree to selling, and it's anonymous, I'm sure. I'd imagine it's nothing to really be concerned about, but they are selling your search data and things like that so that they can do things like this on Ahrefs. And so they'll take it. And so if they, and then they'll scale it to what they think is right. And so if, people are searching SEO company 10 times more than SEO company Primelis, then they'll just take what they think is the seed and then multiply it out. So that's how they get this data now, is through extensions, or that's how it's been for the longest time. There could be better advancements recently, but they use extension data from places like, I don't think they actually use Ola, but yeah, I would have to actually look into that, but I don't think, even if I did look into it, I don't think it's public. That would be like kind of like a trade secret. But anyways, so back to this. How the heck do you get this with this? So the reason I told you all those stories for Ola and Illuminati or whatever that proxy seller is, the reason I told you this is because you can't use bots. You can't get into their data by botting. Like you'd first have to know. Well, here it is. So it's not just Ahrefs that has it a second, right? Here it is here. It's also Google. SEO company. Or was SEO? I had it here just before I started this. It's not appearing now. Damn it. Before, when I was looking at this, it was showing it when I searched like SEO agency. Yeah, it had their brand name. And so I was going to say it's matching, but let's assuming it's not matching now. They would basically need to simulate it. They would first need to figure out what the extension is to bot. If they wanted to bot it, they would have to figure out what the extension is that feeds Ahrefs. And then once they know what feeds Ahrefs, they would have to get they just have to automate that, but you'd have to know where they're getting their data from, and no one really knows where they're getting their data. And so it's likely that this is potentially real, and they inflated it on Google. And Google, if you're going to inflate on Google, like I said, Google knows what's not necessarily what's proxies, but it knows what browsers are real. And so it had to be real people. And so how they got, damn it, of course, I say the G word, my G home starts talking to me. It's super frustrating. But anyways, this has been a long-winded video. Hope this, debunks a few myths on like, oh, they used bots to do this or that. And it's just a little more complicated than that, and a couple of side stories as well. Anyone has any questions on this? Happy to talk about it. If anyone has any guesses on what they're doing, potentially micro workers is a potential option on what they're doing. Still, it'd be quite expensive. You do the math on that, 62,000. Well, if you think that they're scaling to, I don't know what the multiple would be, because they only have a sample size, right? Their sample size would be, oh man, I mean, 1% of users would be a good chunk of users, I would think. So they're scaling at least to a multiple of 100. So if you go 62,000, let's just do 100 for simplicity. 600, that's not that many. Because you go 620 and you go, I don't know, 20 cents a search. It's only $124. So that's probably the most likely chance, is that they know what the extension is that's feeding it. They had 124 people install the extension and just search that and search this and search this. That's probably the most likely. Yeah, there's no way that they're spending, like, they're not paying for every single one of those clicks. That they wouldn't even have sent that many clicks. So definitely something along those lines of what's going on. But anyways, kind of advanced. Doesn't really make a difference unless you do like online reputation management. You want to control the suggested terms on Google and whatnot. Maybe this is of interest to you, but for the rest of us, it's just kind of, I don't know, interesting to think about.